Knowing and awareness, they're just two words in the dictionary. On the surface, they may seem very similar. One may ask, how can you be aware without knowing? To turn that question around, one may also ask, how can you know without being aware? Both are very valid questions, but there's a deep and fundamental difference between knowing and awareness. Knowing something is an affirmation in the mind. It indicates a certain degree of polarity. Any knowledge that is in the mind is subject to polarity. It is either positive towards knowing or negative towards ignorance. Knowing indicates a direction moving from ignorance to knowledge sourced from the external world. It is not all-encompassing. One can say, I know everything, but that's not true. There's always something more to be known. When we say we know, we're indicating a certainty about something. The moment we know something, immediately it becomes part of the past. We have a large collection of experiences which we have labeled as I know, holed up somewhere in the memory and subconscious. When something new comes up, it is always seen through the lens of a prior I know. It is never seen as new and fresh. Knowing brings staleness into our being. Of course, there are certain facts, figures, and knowledge we need to hold in the mind in order to live in the world and experience the world. We're not addressing that here. That is essential for living and survival. We are trying to understand what it is to know in the context of a deeper search, if one is interested in that. If not, it's fine to go about life just as it is. However, how many of us are content with life as it is? Very few would be the best guess. We are all seeking something new and constantly in the search of experiences that bring us happiness. In the name of seeking happiness, we accumulate much knowledge. But that knowledge is a dead end as far as going deeper into our own being. When we are born, we knew nothing. We come in with a clean slate, almost like a mirror. On a mirror, we can see ourselves as long as we remain in front of that mirror. The moment we step away, our reflection disappears. We cannot see it anymore. When the mind becomes like a mirror, it does not store anything. When our attention is on such a mind, as long as we are engaged with it, we show a reflection. The moment we step our attention away from the mirror, like mine, it ceases to exist. It does not hold any of the reflections that may have fallen on it. A mirror in a public place, such as an airport or a train station, will have reflected hundreds and thousands of passengers, but none of them are visible on that mirror. The mind of children is like a mirror. They know very little of the world, yet they're happy. They reflect inner and outer happiness. As we grow and accumulate knowledge, the mind becomes more of an absorber than a reflector. Finally, it turns into a canvas. A canvas cannot reflect anything back, but when it is painted over, it shows that painting. Once painted, it cannot be restored back to its original condition. That's what knowing does to the mind. It paints the mind in different colors. When we say, I know, the experience that we say we know sticks to the mind. Accumulation of knowledge can clutter the mind, and any new experience is viewed in comparison to what we already know. Knowing indicates satisfaction with the search, and once we affirm, I know, there will be no need to inquire any further. Knowing becomes dangerous when we begin to defend that position. That fosters the ego, and the walls we build around ourselves is the growth of that ego. In contrast, awareness is not a road or a path, but an open empty field. Imagine standing in the middle of an empty field with nothing around but the horizon visible in every direction all around. No matter which direction we walk or how far, in relation to the circumferential horizon, we always appear to be in the center. There is no way to touch the horizon or keep it for ourselves. Awareness keeps us centered and equidistant from everything at all times. There are no preferences, likes or dislikes. It is pure witnessing. Awareness is a possibility, unlike knowing, which becomes a certainty. You don't need stored knowledge to be aware. It is a state of being. Knowing is becoming from one to another, a tool for transformation. We think knowing and accumulating knowledge represents transformation for the better. It could be true, but that transformation makes us one-sided towards the side from which knowledge is sourced, the external world. Awareness is neutral. To be in a state of total awareness, one cannot be positively or negatively identified with anything. Being in the state of awareness is restoring the mind to its original condition, that of a mirror. Just as a mirror cannot show us anything that was reflected on it even 5 seconds ago, awareness cannot show us the past. It is a pure reflector of the present. It is easier for us to foster knowing rather than cultivating awareness. The process of knowing can be a group effort, as individuals, we don't need to exert much energy or time to know things. We can live on borrowed knowledge. There's so much accumulated knowledge in the world from so many different sources. We don't really have to put in great efforts these days to know something. Just a few clicks on the screen of our smartphone gives us virtually anything we would like to know. The internet is a huge storehouse of knowledge. Knowing is related to the outer world. The world is immense, not to speak of the universe. Knowing is a wall on which we stick bits and pieces of the outer world. Awareness is a door. Once it is open, it reveals the immensity of the inner world, of which we have never had an experience. A state of awareness keeps us equally open to the outer world. The beauty of cultivating awareness is that we are able to do more in the world with less and less external support. The roots of awareness are within, just like a beautiful fruit-bearing tree that has its roots hidden deep underground. Knowing has its roots out in the world. The fruits of knowing can only be enjoyed in the privacy of the mind, but the fruits of awareness can be enjoyed anywhere, through everything, through the senses, and everything that we perceive. Both are bridges. Knowing is a bridge from ignorance to knowledge. Awareness is the bridge from becoming to being. But the bridge of awareness is very fragile. We cannot bring anyone or anything on that bridge. Even the mind will have to be left behind. Knowing leads to knowledge of everything but the knower within. But as awareness builds and unfolds, the knower will be within the grasp of awareness. Awareness and the knower will then merge into one.